Hello and welcome back to GavTrex. So in this video, it was originally going to be focused solely on Muscat and Oman, but our friend Mohammed called us up, so we ended up switching reins last minute. So pretty much right when we got to Oman, we hoofed it over to the U.A.E. So this video is actually focused on the U.A.E. So I hope you enjoy. So landing in Oman was a great feeling because the air was very clean and it was nice and warm. So we were both very happy to be there. And the view as well was spectacular. We could see the mountains in the distance and the town was lit up and it was very bright and quaint and it was great. So the very first thing we did was we stopped and got dinner at this shawarma place, which was absolutely delicious. Of course, they were playing some football games, so that was fun to watch. We ate huge plates of shawarma. And then the very next day, we just kind of took an administrative day. We hopped around from cafe to cafe trying to get some stuff done so that we were ready to do everything we wanted to do in Muscat. And then we also were able to walk around some, and we found this Christmas market, actually, which we were a little surprised to see, but there was even a parrot petting section, which was kind of cool.
Here we are, our Mexican in Oman.
Mexican number 3.
Number four. Number 4. Let's give it a try.
There are 0 things that make it Mexican.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. Just a little bit of pepper flavor.
I feel like it's like a fine wrap. Here we are, last minute switch. I think we're heading to U.A.E. We're trying to figure it out.
So as you can see, very early the next day, Mohammed called us and said, you guys should come to the U.A.E. because we had talked to him some about coming up at one point. And he's like, you should come today. So we switched our plans, booked a bus, and made our way over to Al Barami, which is right across the border from Al Ain in the U.A.E. We had to take a taxi across the border, which was a little annoying because it's actually a 20-minute drive away from the city, even though it was probably a 5-10 minute drive just across the border, but it was for not us.
We are in the mall right next to our hotel, which costs almost about the same as the one in India, but is way nicer.
It is like 100% nicer.
Yeah. And we're going to get...
Doesn't smell like farts.
It's 11:50 at night, and we're going to get some fruit.
So Mohammed very kindly put us up in a hotel room just nearby, which is very lovely. So thank you so much, Mohammed. That was super helpful and very kind of you. And it had a beautiful view of the city of Al Ain, which was awesome. And then that day we headed over to a cafe next to a little fort and got coffee and drinks with Mohammed and his brother, which was absolutely amazing. It was so great to see Mohammed. We both missed him very much. And then we just kind of walked around and explored the surrounding areas some, which was really awesome. Right afterwards, we actually went to get lunch at Mohammed's grandparents' house. They were throwing a welcome home party for Mohammed, which we were invited to, which was absolutely amazing. They were all very kind, and it was lovely to meet Mohammed's family, and they had a very beautiful house. And we also got to eat camel meat, which was really, really good. Kind of like beef, a little more gamey, but absolutely delicious.
They're like, hey, what's your name?
So later that day, we headed to see the end of a 5K that some of Mohammed's siblings were running, and they had a little fair kind of set up at the end of the race, which was kind of cool to walk around. Afterwards, we headed over to an oasis in Al Ain and got some tea and coffee and listened to a great artist play.
First of all, welcome. So that artwork name is Pulse Canopy. It's done by the artist Rafael Lozano Hamer. He's Mexican-Canadian. So the artwork is about a sensor that interact and read your heartbeats and transform it to a star in the sky. Once you see your star, you can hear your heartbeats from behind.
So at the Oasis, there was a bunch of different interactive activities and artworks that people could walk around and explore. So we did a bunch of that before heading to dinner and getting some of the best food we've had on this trip. Pit meat, which was unbelievable. So this is like lamb which has been slow cooked in a pit overnight, which was so good. Afterwards, we went with Mohammed's friend dune bashing, which was so much fun. He took us out to the desert right next to town, and we just drove around in his car in the dunes, which was so fun. We ended the night around 2:30 a.m. by drinking tea in the dunes, which was just such an amazing experience. We had a great time. But the very next day, we woke up kind of late, which was lovely, and we explored Al-Ain some more with Mohammed. And we went to this mountain nearby, which had a park under it, which was super lovely. But the best part of that day is we went actually back out into the dunes that night, but met up with a bunch of Mohammed's friends and had a big meal. This was so incredible. All of his friends, they have their cars kind of geared up to be able to go out into the desert. So we headed far out there, and they even had a full like cooking kit. So they made a delicious meal from scratch, like out in the middle of nowhere. Orion and I, while this was happening, we're kind of running around and taking pictures in the dunes, which was really cool. But this was just such a great opportunity to be able to hang out with Mohammed and his friends and eat delicious, like homemade food. I mean, this was also unbelievable. So we cannot be more grateful for the kindness and hospitality they showed us. We got my fruity little drink, strawberry mojito, and you got your, what is this called?
Coconut V60.
Coconut V60. Supposedly best coffee in the world, says Mohammed.
It's really good. And we got our banana pudding.
So after going to Mohammed's recommended coffee shop, which was delicious, we headed over to get kunafa, which is a Middle Eastern dessert. Super good. But when we went there, we met this Omani group, which invited us to sit down with them. And we just chatted with them, and they actually bought our kunafa afterwards, which was super, super kind, total strangers. Everyone we met in Oman and the U.A.E. were super kind. But after that, we hopped on a bus and made our way over to Dubai. The ride was about 2 hours, super easy, super smooth, no problems. And pretty much the very first thing once we got there was we headed to a kind of Asian street market, and we got some food. It was nice. It was a lot of fun. We are at the Gold Souk in Dubai. It is a assortment of different gold shops. Pretty cool stuff. Just looking around, really. All of it's much out of our price range, but it's pretty cool. Hello. We're on the ferry. The ferry. So after going to the Gold Souk, we crossed over the little river and headed into the main city of Dubai. Which was really, really cool. Very excessive, very wealthy, but very cool. The first thing we did is we went to this museum, which had a bunch of different buildings, each focusing on a different part of kind of Gulf culture. So map making, poetry, food, textiles, all sorts of different things. So it was really cool to be able to see them all. I think Orion and I would agree, our favorite room actually would probably be the perfumery. They had different pieces of important perfumes, like ingredients for perfumes, and you were able to smell them and kind of learn about each of the ingredients, which was super, super cool. Afterwards, we headed over to the Mall of Dubai, so one of the biggest malls in the world. Certainly was huge. This mall has everything. I think most notably has a Chinatown in the mall. There's a Chinese like district in the mall, which was kind of crazy. Had really good food. Look, aquarium. $50 each.
There's an ice rink over there, and we just walked through a cheesecake factory.
Yeah.
Look over here. Back in my culture, everybody loves Zamboni, man.
So after seeing my favorite part of a hockey game, seeing the Zamboni, of course, we continued to explore the mall some more, most notably going to a kind of VR games center, which was cool. We did a couple VR games, including this like
parachuting gliding game and like this VR zombie game. It was pretty fun. It was kind of weird, but it was a good time. And then afterwards we went to this kind of like house of, I don't know, illusions, mystery kind of thing. So this place was crazy. Lots of flashing lights and mirror rooms and people dressed in weird costumes and very bright colors and secret doors. But it was a really good time. I think we just kind of used the opportunity to mess around and just, just mess around and have fun. And, we took lots of photos and lots of crazy videos, but there was really no theme of the place. But, it was a good time. It was kind of a very different vibe to what we've been doing for the rest of the trip. We just, we were just messing around.
Yeah, the ball pit.
As you can see here, they had like an impromptu dance session, and they had a fashion show with weird costumes, which of course Orion and I joined because, why not? We're the stars of the show. And then we, continue to explore really weird, strange rooms.
We've escaped the mall. It was a close call. We almost got stuck in there, just like in Percy Jackson, but we made it. Right, is it?
So after trying for a while and making it out of the mall, we headed over to see the Burj Khalifa and the kind of water and light show that was in the pond next to it.
Oh, yeah.
We have our Mexican of the U.A.E. This is a good one. This is, to be honest, a fancy one. So we have over here, this is a marinated chicken with like avocados and lettuce and like green salsa, really good. This is a lamb. Al pastor. Got the classic beets, onions, some pickles on there. Really, really tasty. What are these? Ryan, these are yours.
Over here we got some lemon chipotle shrimp with some lime fixins. And we got some short rib tacos.
This is the best one.
This is my favorite with pickles and kimchi. Really good.
This stuff.
So after getting our Mexican food, we had to go get a beer. And then we kind of took a somewhat long detour to go see a ski slope inside of a mall. It was a different mall from the first one. And it had a full ski mountain in it, which I just needed to see.
We're leaving Dubai, heading back to Muscat.
Getting back to Muscat was kind of a pain. It was really tricky to cross the border because we couldn't go by bus. We had to go by taxi, but no taxis were allowed to cross the border because they didn't have the drivers didn't have visas to get out of the country. So we had to actually call a taxi from the other side to come around and pick us up and bring us through, which took several hours and way too much money. But eventually we made it, and then we made our way back to Muscat after stopping and getting some tea at this little tea shop. But it was lovely, but a unbelievably difficult and confusing process. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. The U.A.E. was a really great time. I loved it. It was great to see Mohammed, great to see his family. And Dubai was a crazy experience, but I think my favorite thing overall was probably going dune riding out with Mohammed's friends and eating a dinner out in the dunes. That was pretty awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.